All right, and with that, guys, let's not beat around the bush. Titan Comics has brought us in so we can give you a spoiler-filled review of Star Wars: Rise of Skywalker.
It will be spoiler-filled.
But good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody.
That's it.
And good night.
Let's get to the meat here. Titan Comics, go see Jeremy. www.titancomics.com wants you to have a spoiler-filled review. If you don't want spoilers, get out now because I don't want to hear about you complaining about that later.
Wait, you mean there are Star Wars fanboys out there that would complain?
About something, yes.
Oh, okay.
I know, hard to believe.
Shocking.
But they do exist. Now, before we do that, though, I would like to take this moment to remind you we have that contest, our first giveaway, for Tool.
What are we?
The Tool Fear Inoculum Deluxe Gatefold CD first issue.
Yes.
That is no longer available in stores.
Right. And it's going for like $200 or $300 on eBay.
Yeah,
I think it's come down to 100.
It's like 100, 150 between there somewhere. But yeah,
Still, though,
it's on
just
eBay.
not that readily available.
Yeah.
Right.
Did we post the rules?
We posted the
we
rules.
did.
You
Yes,
can
we
find
did.
them on Facebook.
We did. We posted them last.
Facebook.
We posted them last weekend.
It's an
on
art
Facebook.
piece. Scroll down. We'll repost it after we're done here today, just so you can see them. But
Already got a couple of beautiful pieces out there.
beautiful pieces that have come in.
Nice to see.
So submit. We have until January
22nd. Submissions all need to go to vagabondnerds@gmail.com. Anything received after the 22nd will not be qualified for the contest. And the subject matter is whatever you want. There's no specific subject. It's anything you want to be. It could be sculpture, it could be photography, it could be drawn, painting, watercolors, taxidermy art.
Yeah.
I don't care what it is.
So
Taxidermy art? We're going to
Hey,
accept taxidermy?
I'll take if somebody wants to consider that they've put together a festive scene of
We
a
put
beautiful
lotion on
cornucopia of
its
stuffed
skin.
squirrels, then sure.
A squirrel corn. Okay.
Yeah.
So any media, any subject by January 22nd to win the toolbox. And again,
Submissions all from the continental United States.
continental United States.
Please,
Yes.
because we're not. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, but we're not shipping internationally to anybody
Yeah.
if you're outside of the states. So
Yet.
Yes,
We'll get there.
We'll
one
get
day.
there. We're not
Yeah.
there yet.
Not right now.
So.
Okay. So again, last warning: we are going to spoil the ever living crap out of this movie. Cat's already crying.
Yeah, well,
If
Cat's
you-
crying because you're talking.
That's true. But
We're sorry, Cat.
Sorry, Cat.
so if you want to go in with if you've been avoiding spoilers and commentary, jump out now and then come watch the movie, then come back and enjoy.
Do a flip.
No,
Sorry.
do a barrel roll. Anyway.
But come back and watch it and
then laugh with us and
laugh.
talk with us.
Leave some
and,
comments. We also have some YouTube stuff up. You could leave comments in the YouTube videos as well.
YouTube, like, follow, subscribe, Facebook, YouTube.
Yep, everything. Dallas on Air.
Dallas on Air.
Yep.
All right, let's just get in the meat of it,
All right.
man. Go.
All right, first question. Sean, did you like it?
Are we doing questions like that now?
Are we
Yes.
doing questions?
Are we doing that?
We're going back to old school.
We're going back
for
to
just
old
a few
school
because
format?
we've got a few. He's going to douche out, and we're going to be fighting over stuff. And I want to get through the
douche
important
out.
stuff first. So, Sean, did you like it?
Let me first off, Jason. Let me say how much I do appreciate that you wrote down a list of the important stuff, right? Because I did not. I was gonna, and then I just went. F it. No.
You got drunk and.
No, actually, I haven't been drinking. I've been
me.
sick
Really?
for a week.
Oh,
dude.
that's
I haven't
right. Yeah,
drinking
you've been
at all.
sick. Yeah.
Had you been drinking, you wouldn't be sick.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. You know what? I did cut back, and after
Yeah.
cutting back, all of a sudden, this is what happens.
All right, go to your first question.
Should never
man.
cut back. Always stay healthily pickled.
Yeah, exactly.
Healthily pickled.
What's your first question?
In the Bible,
Oh,
it
did
says
I-
that you're supposed to take a little wine. for
Shut
your
up!
stuff.
What's the first question?
Did I like it?
Did you like it?
I don't know.
Fair enough. Raymond.
I'm not done yet.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But thanks. This movie has to be watched twice.
Okay.
I really think I need to see it another time to get a full feeling of it. Now, I was entertained.
Yes.
And it was just that I was entertained, but sometimes it felt like there was too much going on. So
It was chaotic.
it was a little chaotic, and it was hard to get into. It's very much not like the other two, episodes from this era, right? From this particular era that we're looking at. But I would still recommend people go see it. I'll put it to you that way. So, but I'm mixed feelings on it. So that's where I'm at.
That's very fair. Okay, Raymond.
I've actually had the opportunity to watch it twice. I think that's a really good statement. I came out of the first viewing and I liked it. the second viewing, I appreciate it even
More.
more. There's a lot of nuances that go on in this flick.
Nuances.
Yeah, just little drops here and there.
Yeah.
But and they're subtle. Some of them are very subtle. Some of them are in your face.
Yeah.
I just you're like, okay, I get it. That's okay. But there are a lot of just little nice touches that are through this movie that I think made me appreciate it more the second time.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was very entertaining. It's everything you come to like about Star Wars and some things that you learn to hate. I am not. I probably owe an apology to Terminator Dark Fate, not because this movie was worse than that by any stretch of the imagination, but because I think there's a toxicity that goes around with the fan base that they can't just enjoy it for it. And I know for me, that's what I did with Terminator. Is it a great movie? No, but it was actually a decent movie. I just felt certain things. So I get the fan base out there right now that they're like, oh man, I didn't like certain things in this or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, you're being kind of a jerk. Oh, that's what I was doing. Crap.
This movie gave you some appreciation for your position towards
on Terminator. So,
yeah.
I think from now on, when I review movies, having seen that, I'm going to be a lot more okay. As a movie, what is this like?
Yeah.
As opposed to what the actual.
But does this mean we're overthinking these things too much though? If you get to that position where your gut reaction was you watched Terminator Dark Fate and you were like, I'm disappointed because they just basically screwed the entire point in the first 5 minutes. And so you were upset right then and there because you're like, well then what was all this for?
What was the point of it?
But is it should you not be have that first reaction? Do you actually have to come at it later and go, well, maybe I was kind of being a dick back there, and you got to start and go, I look at it as if I look at the movie from this point, it's better, and then this point it's better.
I'm okay with being the dick about the movie. Like, don't.
I know that.
I'm gonna stand by.
No, we have never questioned that.
Your willingness to be.
That's never happened
be a dick.
before.
I'm gonna stand by what I said.
I'm counting on it.
Okay, I'm standing by what I said about it. I'm just saying. It doesn't necessarily make it a bad movie, and I think that's what a lot of people that I'm seeing, especially of course, online, right?
I just meant, why do we have to look at movies like that nowadays? Why do we have to stop and
that's
go,
the culture that we've grown into.
Why do you have to question yourself?
It's the culture that we've grown into, man. There's too many people. I mean, look, dude, we fight over the dumbest things now online.
Because life is
online.
Life is,
I thought you just meant the three of us.
We also fight over the dumbest.
Life is far too easy. We don't have enough people being eaten by bears. We don't have real problems, so we choose
bears.
Bears.
Yeah, when we have time to bitch about movies, that's very much a first world problem. Like, I'm not lost on that at all.
Like, I didn't have a kid eaten by a moose to this week.
Yeah.
So I think things are pretty okay.
Which is fine.
How often are moose eating children?
You don't know.
Isn't Kevin Smith working on Moose
Why do you think
still?
Canada only has like 30 million people?
They
sneak into the hospitals at night and eat the babies.
Remember how we said not to be funny? Let's stick with that. But no, so
it's
overall,
a tragedy, really.
Overall, what I'm saying is I like this movie.
Okay.
I appreciate it more the second time.
Yeah.
I do encourage people to see it twice. If you don't like it, if you don't want to see it, if you want to continue to say whatever you want to say, God bless. You want to be a jackass the rest of your life, knock yourself out.
Jesus.
But like, it's not a bad movie, and I enjoyed it. And I think, look, for trying to shove 40 years of this movie history into a 2.5 hour
resolution
finale, they could have done it much worse. They could have done it much better. It doesn't matter. But overall, I'm satisfied with it. There's a couple of things I'll nitpick here and there, but
I guess that's the biggest point, that when you ask whether or not I liked it or anybody liked it, it's were you satisfied with it?
Right.
Yeah,
that's really maybe that's really the question you should ask.
You're never going to please 100% of this fan base.
Well, so okay,
particularly this one.
So you enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it.
I have kind of still mixed feelings because I'm not really fully. It was entertaining.
It was entertaining.
What is
the first viewing, and it was very enjoyable the second.
Did you like it?
Yes.
Were you satisfied by it?
It was entertaining. To your point, I did like it. And I think it was emotionally satisfying as a conclusion of the trilogy. I like you said,
the trilogy or the saga?
The entire saga. I think it did wrap it up. I think I think I was more forgiving of the chaotic first third or even the first half of that film, basically up to the Death Star fight. I sort of forgave the chaos of leading up to that because I understood what he was trying to do was move the plot forward that he was expecting. I think you could argue that Rian Johnson's movie, I'm not bashing, I don't even want to get to it yet, that as far as the overall plot, it didn't really move a lot for telling the story.
It was a character film,
right? Which is great. I like it. We'll talk about that later. But it's for to end the series, Abrams needed to really push that plot forward and really move some things forward that had been ignored. And that's why I realized that's what he was doing that first half, up to, or whatever it is, up to the Death Star fight scene. He was trying to play catch up to get us to a point. So
American Flight 567, you're now prepared to land.
Exactly.
I'm just looking at your arms, dude. They're...
And then what happens is Ray goes and finds the thing. Then he can actually complete the entire saga.
We're gonna do this
by
show.
Wrapping it up.
We're gonna do this show
forcing
one
it in
time
at the
with your
end.
hands tied.
Wrapping it up and forcing it in at
Forcing
the
it
end,
in
huh?
at the end, yeah. So we can end it, and then he gives us a very emotional.
Did you catch that?
I caught it.
Okay.
Yeah, a very emotional, complete.
Just don't use those Chinese condoms. I hear they don't.
They're the only ones.
No,
That
you
fit.
got to get the.
And I hear they don't.
Is that
Or
an
the-
East African swallow or a West African
it's
swallow?
unladen?
Unladen.
An unladen swallow.
So yeah, to your point, it was entertaining, but I liked it, and I think because I was willing to be more forgiving of the chaos at the beginning. So, but I thought it was satisfying as well. I think it hit enough emotional beats the right way at the right time for me.
I've got 15% of that fandom out there in the world right now that disagree with you.
Well, you
I'm
know-
not one of them,
Yeah.
but
Well, hold on. And here's what I'll say. I kind of don't care right now. I'm done with everyone complaining about everything. It's like, I like Khalid, by the way. What's up, Khalid?
we miss you, Khalid.
We miss you. You should probably invite him back on, Mr. I don't like Khalid anymore. Anyway.
Did I ever say that?
He did. All the time, Khalid. He's always like, I don't like Khalid. He's too tall. And he sucks as an artist.
Hey, Cal, don't listen to White Man. You know how it goes. All right, go ahead.
Anyway, no, can we, just sit back and appreciate
Cracker got
the
a
movie.
crack.
Cracker got a crack. We just have to appreciate things for what they are, right? So I've gone to articles where I'm like, all right, this is what they're complaining about, so we talk about it in the show, and I closed all of them. I don't care. I don't care what someone's going to bitch about.
Okay, so what's question 2?
So question 2 is, where would you rank it in the overall franchise for you?
Oh.
Just these three, or are we talking the full?
No,
franchise?
overall,
Talking
all
about the
9.
saga.
Dude, that's really hard.
Is it 9 or 11?
Or yeah. And if you don't know, you can say you don't know. But I mean, that's,
No, I'm just saying that's a really difficult position
It
to
is,
throw
which is-
out at somebody immediately because we're looking. I'm saying 9. Let's look at 9.
Okay, let's
Yeah,
look
let's
at
just-
this.
It's
Okay.
movies 1 through 9.
Okay.
If you're looking at the saga, because that's the saga. That's the Skywalker quote
Yeah.
unquote saga. I don't know where it falls. If
does it fall towards the better half?
I think it falls almost right in the middle for me.
Yeah, I think it does.
Yeah.
Like, I was just thinking that, too, and I'm like,
Because there's at least 3 movies that I would consider better than this one.
Thank you.
Empire.
Yeah.
Empire.
I'm going to have to go Last Jedi.
I was gonna say
Yeah,
Last
I think
Jedi.
yeah,
those
emotionally,
two.
yeah, I
those
think
two.
Last Jedi was a
Those
great
two.
I'm going
movie.
to go Force Awakens, and then I'm going to go either this
Star
one.
Wars. No, I'm gonna go with
Star
Hope.
Wars?
I'm gonna go with
Okay.
A New Hope. Those would be my top 4.
And then
this would probably
This is tied for 5th
this
with
is with Jedi and
Revenge of the Sith and...
Revenge of the,
See, I would
Yeah.
say Revenge of the Sith was better. Well, no,
No,
you're right.
I would
No?
say
Okay.
this is on par
Look,
with Revenge of the Sith.
Revenge of the
Yeah.
Sith. No, I just
a little better?
It's better than
Yeah,
Revenge.
I
Okay,
think there's
fair enough.
yeah. Okay,
Fair
I
enough.
would put this over Revenge, but after Return of
But
Jedi.
you're definitely still...
Yeah, in
Well,
the middle.
maybe I would say this
Yeah.
and Jedi are kind of.
Yeah, I
tied
see. That's the way I was feeling. Like this is.
Yeah, it's like 4... It's
it's like
put it-
right
but
there
it's
in the middle.
It's
middle.
fitting because
It's fitting, yeah.
It's the end of the saga. So we've got the first 2 that we like from the original trilogy, and then we've got the first 2 that we like from this trilogy as well.
Yeah.
The 3 others, I mean, they were what they were when they came out. Everybody was just
Mm-hmm.
excited to have a new Star Wars movie, and then you went back and watched some of the dialogue, and you're like,
God, that was so disappointing.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I know. But it was what it was, right?
Yeah,
it's
I
we
get it.
still we acknowledge it, and it's like you can watch it sometimes and enjoy it still
Yeah.
for what it is, just to
Right.
get lost in the movie. Is it the best?
Yeah.
No.
No.
Is it
It's
better
cer-
than the original trilogy? Hell no.
No, but
That's better than Return.
Really,
I do feel that,
I
yeah.
thought it was
You
better-
still feel that
I thought it was
way?
I
better
still
than
feel
New
that way.
Hope.
I liked Return of the Jedi. I had no problem with that one.
I didn't say I didn't like Return of the Jedi. I just think it's a stronger movie than Return of the Jedi.
Okay.
Anyway, but I do think it was a fitting end. But like I said, I felt the same way. Like he was about there in the middle. Like he wasn't the best, it wasn't the worst, but it was a complete story.
It was adequate.
Yeah, it did what it was supposed to do.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. Okay.
It doesn't sound like high praise.
It doesn't.
It's adequate. The movie was adequate. You know.
Yeah, Matthew, I'm going to agree with that. You have people that complain because they're trying to pretend that they're smarter than everybody else.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good point as well. But yeah, I mean, like for me, I will absolutely, and I know that's probably, people are losing their shit over me saying, hey, I think The Last Jedi and Empire, it's Empire than Last Jedi. And they're like, oh my God, The Last Jedi was a piece of crap. No, I think The Last Jedi was it was a character piece. To me, it was
I've
very
never-
much focused on it.
I've never understood why so many people bashed on that movie so hard, because to me, I watched it and I walked out of it. I was entertained the entire time.
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to focus too much on like trying to inject politics or any type of social
Yeah, take it for what it was. It was a
standing.
movie.
I wasn't trying to inject anything into the movie that was going on, socially or politically here in our lives at the time.
Yeah.
It's an escape. I
Yeah.
went to the movies to escape that.
Yo, hold on. So you're telling me, I got to get this straight. You're telling me you watched a movie for pure entertainment value?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Is that common?
I don't know what I was thinking.
Okay,
honestly. I have no. I was.
Were
I
you
was
high
on-
at the time?
blowing my mind, Luke.
yeah.
Did you have a Stroke or something? What?
I must have been on dope.
At the end of the world. Sorry, this Family Guy stroke joke.
Anyway, okay.
Stroke.
So yeah, no.
Stroke.
Stroke.
What are you trying to tell me?
Okay,
I'm having
there's
a
actually
stroke.
more I want to talk about The Last Jedi in this movie. But just from this
Well,
one.
go to your.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
These questions are killing me, man. I love it. Go.
Yeah. Again, what was your favorite moment, or what was the best moment? Maybe not your favorite, but the
Okay,
best
let
moment for
me.
you.
Can I specify this?
Sure.
I will take out the best moment in the movie that I know both of us agree on, and you have to come up with something different because
Yeah.
I think hands down of this movie, it's got to be Harrison Ford and Ben Solo.
Yeah.
And I know for us, so remove that scene. Any scene but that one, which one is the best would be my thing.
Any scene but that one, which one is the best? It depends on what you like, what you're wanting to see.
Yeah,
that's why we're asking. That's why
So
we're
it's
asking.
very different. I would, for me, honestly, the best scene for me was, man, it was a real hard toss up between Kylo and Rey fighting on the Death Star, the ruined Death Star in the sea. Mainly just because I love the way Kylo fights. I've never seen another Jedi fight like him before. His style is very unique, and I love to see the two of them. They're matched. They're equally matched.
Well, it's
so when
very
they're fighting,
British
it's really good.
style. He's fighting with like a long sword. Like that is how you would fight, and it's brilliant.
A lot of British fighting you've done there.
Actually,
Oh, he
that's-
always fights the Brits.
He always fights the
He always
Brits.
fights the
All right.
Brits.
So, anyways, that one, or
No one understands that
I-
Brexit started with Jason.
I really enjoyed, and actually, okay, I think that for me, my favorite was the separate fight with Kylo and the Knights and Rey and the Royal Guard, where they're in two completely different areas, but they have figured out ways to transfer objects to one another, and they, she basically hands him this lightsaber because she can tell he's in trouble, and they fight, and it's when he's just the two of them together doing that, and it's that mirrors the same thing from The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
It's just
But they're in sync this time.
they're in sync this time, and it was really, the cinematography was fantastic.
Yeah, it really was.
The cuts between the editing back and forth between the two was really, really good. And then just as a little bonus out of that, I really liked seeing the scene with Palpatine and her confronting one another, and he's on that giant
gantry arm.
and he's just like floating there, and I was like, man, that was such a cool idea.
That was metal, wasn't it?
That was
That was very metal.
dude. It really made me think of something out of like like a heavy metal.
Yeah,
or
I was
some
thinking the
type
same
of
thing.
It
HR
was a
guy,
H-
like
yes,
an
I was just
HR
about to say
Geiger.
yes.
That same whole kind of
Yes.
idea. It was really good. I enjoyed. For me, any scenes where we started to really see the Sith planet.
Yeah.
And that home world, the home world, which we've never been able to see in a thing before, in a movie before.
Right. Yeah.
I wish they had brought that into the story many episodes ago, because that was a treat to see something. You get to finally see the other side.
Maybe just little drops, like all throughout the new trilogy.
little bits.
Like, why do we keep seeing this planet?
Yeah.
What's going on here?
That would have been cool. That would
Yeah.
have been pretty neat to
Yeah.
see. So, but yeah,
Jason?
those two things.
For me, it's also one of the most emotional scenes outside the Harrison Ford Ben Solo thing is at the end when Greg Gunberg's character dies, right? And the guy from Heroes.
Oh,
Yeah.
with Poe and him flying. Yeah.
And Poe's like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Like he genuinely thought this was going to work, and then he hears it was almost it wasn't quite as powerful as when you hear Mackey's voice in Endgame, but it's the same thing where you hear Lando's like, "Hey, we're here," and you turn, and it's this massive fleet,
Beautifully done.
beautifully done.
Yeah, it was
Beautifully
really
done.
nice. It was very
And it's
pretty.
like they're a little hint like the Ghost from Rebels. It's in that fleet. Now we don't know who's flying it, but they were there.
They pulled so much stuff from
Yeah.
so many different.
Places. It was
Yeah, it was incredible. Whether it was the cartoons, whether it was anything that now Disney didn't kill as canon was able to be used in this movie. Again, little just
Nods.
thrown in there,
yeah.
which is again appreciated. So that was yours.
Yeah, that was
they
fine.
all-
And since we'll talk about that here in a second, but it was just him pulling around and coming up because we literally that was Poe's lowest point, right? We just lost Greg Gunberg. I don't even care what his real name is. What his name is in the series, and he's like, I failed. I
think his name was Red Shirt 1. No, wrong series.
Yeah.
yeah.
You've angered some people
I've
already.
I've angered some people. Oh no!
Why do all these? Why do all your little Star Trek Christmas cookies have red shirts on them? Yeah, but it's like he's literally at his lowest point, and it's just to see because he feels like he not only did he fail, he destroyed the rebellion. Like this is as big a failure as you're ever going to have, and he feels like it's all on him. And then it's like no, it paid off, and then to see thousands upon thousands upon thousands of these ships.
They're all like whoop, whoop, whoop,
Yeah,
whoop,
just showing up.
flitting
They're
out,
like,
yeah.
it was a redemption of not just Poe's character, and it was the biggest nod to the thing that I liked the most about Last Jedi was the idea that that's the average person, not
Well, right, and even one of the generals says,
Yeah.
"Where did they get this? They don't have a navy." And he said,
Yeah.
It's just
"Sir,
people.
I think it's just people."
it's just people.
Yeah.
and it's just people showing up for the fight, and that's what Rian Johnson was really trying to drive home. Was that it could just be anybody. It didn't. You don't have to be.
Which
this
is a
thing.
nice. God, that was a nice nod back to it.
Uh-huh.
Are you good?
I'm good.
Okay, so the problem is we're
Ow!
That backfired.
It did.
that was worth
Really,
every
really
single thing that
backfired.
you're trying to throw that. That was awesome.
Please tell me that was on camera. Damn it!
Such an no. Wait. I'm looking at quick playback, but yeah, unfortunately.
Oh,
Damn
Dude,
it.
she's watching it
She's
live.
watching, I
She can
know.
tell you whether or
Damn
not
it.
it's on
I
camera.
was still kind of hoping,
Why?
because it's funny to see him. I'll throw
Abandon
mine at
all
you.
hope, ye who enter here.
Which has got to be some fanboy out there doing that.
They
with
just
Star
need to
Wars.
put that over movie theaters from now on.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
abandon all hope.
it's a transfer from where I used to work.
It's it's really something really small. Again, it's all emotional beats. It's when Rey's talking to Leia and she's like, Master Leia.
Yes.
Just the fact that Leia had reached master status for Jedi is such a little bitty thing, and then it ties into what was my favorite scene was Luke training Leia.
Yeah.
That was a good scene, too.
That
Yeah.
scene right there was just because to me it was a great callback to the trilogy. The CGI on that
Was excellent.
awesome. Seeing a young, Luke Skywalker and a young Leia, and seeing her more importantly beat him, but then him talking about the fact that, but she had this vision of her son dying, and it's just like, wow, that's
She
pretty
gave
cool.
she gave up her own lightsaber, and it's like this
She
is why.
surrendered to the
Yeah.
Force.
Yeah.
As
Exactly.
the
Yes.
Jedi Masters will do.
Which is why she goes away when Ben goes. She's intertwined with Ben
Yeah.
in that way, and
yeah.
No, I love
noticed
that.
I noticed that when they. Yeah.
Which is what made okay. Are you
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead. We're
The
good.
scene on the ruined Death Star when she impales him
Oh, that yeah.
with his own lightsaber. And
Which first off is
that's just
that's balls right there, man.
Yeah.
When you can get impaled with your own weapon, it's like, huh.
yeah. And it's the thing that surprised me the most.
That she didn't hesitate.
No, because we could tell that's where she was being pushed this entire time was to go to the dark side. And he had been pushing her the entire time. So the fact that she's like he's distracted and takes the opportunity to impale him and be like, I'm done with all of this crap, and just impales him. And then she realizes Leia's there. Like and then she realizes that Leia is dying because of what. So I think there's that moment where Rey herself is like, not only did she watch me kill her own child,
Did I kill her?
did I kill her as well? Because they've already established that if that link's
I think you're
connected.
onto something. I think it's reversed though. I think she did. I think that realization of Leia being there wasn't until after she ran Kylo through. And I think the first thought to hit her was, "Oh my God, Leia's dead," and then followed by, "Oh shit, did I do that?"
Yeah.
You're seeing that, but I mean
it's all nuance. It's all emotional nuance.
The scene is powerful. We get a new force power that was done in The Mandalorian, which is the healing, which we saw earlier in the movie with the giant ass snakes.
Yeah.
Why did it have to be snakes?
Spider snakes.
Yeah, right. So, but
multiple eyes.
and then leading up, he's been trying to drill that joke since he saw it. But
It's not a joke.
It's not a joke.
Yeah, I know. It's just more of a statement or possible fact. But then that leading up to him just standing there on the Death Star, and you hear the "Hey kid."
Oh
And
yeah.
I know. I was thinking because when you first hear the "Hey kid," you're thinking, Luke.
Why were you thinking Luke?
Because that's what Luke said in The Last Jedi.
But he said it as a callback to
his father. Yeah.
I know, which is I'm thinking, is he doing that just to purposely say, like, are we going to turn around and see Luke?
I understand.
I wasn't expecting to see Harrison Ford by any stretch
Yeah.
of the imagination.
I was because it was clearly Harrison Ford's voice.
I wasn't thinking that at the moment. Like, at the
I wasn't
moment,
anticipating him being
yeah.
there, but I
No,
like you, I was like,
no.
that's Harrison Ford.
That
yeah.
caught me off guard completely, and I'm sitting there. So I'm focused on the theater. I'm focused on the screen. I'm watching the screen, and I can feel off to my left my wife's head just turn because she go and on her face she's like. Because here it is, it's Harrison Ford, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, keep watching the movie, keep watching. Like I'm like, keep watching the movie.
Don't look at me.
Don't look at me. Watch the screen.
Don't look at me, puppet.
But yeah, initially the
Don't
thought
look at me.
the thought was like, really?
Yeah.
For a second there, like, really? They're gonna, because and I think it's also because we were just talking before the movie started with 1984, Wonder Woman
trailer.
84, and she was like, they brought Chris Pine back. And so, so here we are in this situation where so many minutes before we were just thinking about that, and she just kind of like looked at me, but it was funny to me at the same time. So, but I don't. Yeah, it was a very touching, special moment between the two of them.
Oh, it was, and the fact they reenacted the entire scene from
in a way.
Yeah.
Yes.
But he did it
It ended differently.
And I love the fact that he's not a Force ghost, right? Because I was kind of expecting him to be a Force ghost.
I thought so too. And
He
it
was
was
like, you're just a memory.
That's what I was gonna say. It was more or less him just having his internal battle and that struggle that's so real in him. Whether he's trying to be something he's not.
Yeah.
It was that Pa Kent moment in Man of Steel.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was exceptionally touching. It was, like I said, I love the fact that they reenacted that scene. Only this time he did what he was always supposed to have done.
And good on Harrison for not taking a credited role. Like, his name's nowhere in the
he's-
credits.
he's
nothing.
uncredited.
He's not in the credits.
He's
Yeah.
uncredited
I double
in that
checked
whole
with
thing.
IMDb. He is uncredited.
Well, I double checked because I saw it twice.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he was just a memory, so
Yeah.
I mean, he can't
Right,
really
exactly,
he can't take credit for just being a memory in the movie.
But I mean, that's and I love the fact that Carrie Fisher got top billing.
Yeah.
That was very cool.
Yeah, that was nice.
Her
I
and
liked-
Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
Had she done any filming on
No.
this?
No.
Not
Nope.
one bit, right?
All pulled
This was-
from Force Awakens.
That's what I thought.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yep.
what I thought.
Yeah, for materials
had
there was a
not
ton of
used.
stuff they didn't use.
Mm-hmm.
There was this large B plot about, like, you remember when they destroyed the planets in the core system that we see in Force Awakens. There's a scene where there's this Indian woman surrounded by a bunch of aliens. They're watching the beam come down and destroy them. And you get the feeling like that woman's supposed to be important, but you don't know why. She was the B plot. That's one of the things that Rian Johnson sort of retconned in his movie was the idea that both the the First Order and the Resistance were these sort of ragtag things. Like the First Order only supposedly had that one ship,
Right.
and it was this small thing, which is why the whole Skywalker base took everyone by surprise, or Starkiller base.
Yeah.
And that's why they were supposedly using the X-wings instead of some new ship. Was all they had done was retrofit the old X-wings because they didn't have money. And that woman was supposed to be going to the Senate saying, "Hey, we need cash. This First Order is a bigger problem than you realize."
Gotcha.
And everyone's like, "No, they're just a bunch of extremists. They don't matter. Everything's fine."
Right.
That was sort of what J.J. Abrams was setting up. And again, that sort of got wiped away with Rian Johnson's version. Then J.J. Abrams sort of brought it back with the whole idea of the Final Order was the actual fleet. So,
Well, all of it, again, because we kind of got off track. But yeah, that's
What?
we got
What?
off track.
We got off track?
You mean there isn't track?
Yeah, it's Amtrak. But yeah,
I like that.
I mean, I think, but some of the plots when you go back and you hear some of the stuff that you're talking about, you're like, yeah, I'm kind of glad that didn't. I think these movies are good as they are. Could we see some better stuff? Yeah. Again, I think it goes back to what you were just saying now and what we were talking about earlier, which is just if you had dropped a little bit of stuff throughout the entire trilogy,
Right.
getting to this point probably would have been more cohesive, because that is the one thing I'll say about this flick is that when you look at it, you could almost stand this movie on its own.
Yeah.
You could almost stand, Last Jedi on its own.
There's
But
so much in this movie. It from the beginning, where to your point, it's standing on its own. It could be its own story, just because. I mean, it doesn't stop.
It doesn't.
It doesn't stop.
This could have been a 9 and a 10.
And that's what I was thinking as I was watching this. It really did feel like they crammed two movies together to make this final entry. I think that's the only thing to me that kind of hurt the film a little bit as far as a viewer standpoint goes, because you might lose some people in that quick jumble.
Yeah, and it was
one to one. I mean, just
one thing
jump,
after another.
Jump. There was no.
I would have loved to have seen more Kylo in the first 5 minutes, just him searching for the Sith wayfinder.
Searching for the Sith, yeah.
Yeah, because him just mowing people over was just awesome.
Well, I would have liked to have seen more of the Knights of Ren in the that was one of the big misses of this whole series was they were supposed to be this thing, and we never see them.
We didn't see them until just now.
And then even then we only get like a couple of moments where I
was always wondering what happened to them that they were not by Kylo's side all the time,
right?
Which kind of threw me off.
My whole thing though would be is that really something to worry about, or is this something that I'm going to see 2 years from now on Disney Plus?
Right. I want the Lando series.
It's not. Actually that wouldn't be bad if you saw like Knights of Ren series or something like that. That would be kind of interesting.
Because already I don't want to see I don't know what the next Star Wars movie will be. Let's be honest, though, we'll see one in the next 5 years.
Yeah.
They've already said they're going to take a couple of years off before we see how the trailer, which is great.
Good.
Yeah.
And I hope the next
figure
one.
out what they're trying to do. Yeah.
I hope the next one has nothing to do with the trilogy. I hope, which is kind of what they're talking about. There is no trilogy in mind from here on out. They're thinking it's more standalone movies.
I wouldn't mind seeing something that's not involving Jedi or Sith at all.
I want to see one series,
you
but I don't want to see it on there. I want to see it on Disney Plus. But it's Finn fully becoming a Jedi, because that was dropped all through that movie.
Yeah, the first one, especially in The Force Awakens, when he's got the lightsaber in his hands. I think there was that full possibility at that point that we didn't know if it was gonna be Rey or if it was gonna be him, or if they were all of a sudden we're like, oh crap, we're getting two at the same time. Like
yeah.
But
I think there was a lot of things that J.J. Abrams had set up for that again Rian Johnson didn't address, that I think Abrams expected them to deal with.
Yeah,
that's why he had to do what he did. But
again, I don't think that makes it a bad movie.
I didn't say that it made it a bad movie. I already said I agree with you. I think it's one of the best movies. I'm just saying.
Put your hand down, my child.
No, all I'm saying is
your Magneto sucks.
No, there's electronics.
Yeah, please don't.
It's just that he didn't move things forward, and that's why the first half of this movie is them trying to catch up to these plot points. Like again, okay, so this is one of the questions. We can pretty much move on to this because we've hit most of them.
This notebook thing. He's FYI,
hey, I've done it too.
I know. FYI though, I don't think we're doing this again. But go ahead now.
One of the things that Rian Johnson didn't touch on in his version that they at least sort of addressed in this one that I think J.J. Abrams really wanted to set up for the second film was the fact that these weren't clone troopers, these weren't even volunteer stormtroopers, these were child soldiers. And I've mentioned this from the get go.
Man, do you see how the hands
Wait,
are going
you
today?
mentioned it from the
Hey,
get go.
stop!
Yes,
I've mentioned it from the get-go.
we've talked about this several times. That one of the plot points I like.
He's talked about it several times. We've been drinking usually.
Yeah, is that the idea that these stormtroopers are child soldiers sets up a different moral system, and the fact that Finn defects. I think J.J. Abrams wanted to do something different with the stormtroopers, and we see that play out with the defectors that they find on Endor.
I think we're probably giving too much credit on that. I think he found a good beat that he had, and I think he brought it into this one and thought, you know what? I had Finn do it. I can have anyone who I want to do. I don't think it was a planned beat from the get-go. I think it just was, hey, I can use this.
Well, what he means by planned beat from the get-go, he places a lot more gravity on something than what really... It sounds like he planned it. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
It sounds like he's putting more gravity on something than what he really means is. He just means that it was set up as a possible plot point for the next movie.
I don't even...
And maybe not a plot point, but it does open... It opens the idea to the possibility that other people defected. And he finally showed us that in this film. I was a little kind of skeptical of the fact that I was like, really? It's all of you are all defectors? You're all defectors on the same planet? But then I was like, yeah, but if you're all part of the one platoon, you're all part of
That
the
would
same
make
troop.
sense.
I guess that makes sense.
You would stay together. Yeah.
Right. But I always thought that the Empire was taking from children, pulling children in as troopers ever since the clone, the Empire went down. They were taken offline, and the clones were no longer being. The clones were no longer being produced. It's like, of course, they're pulling from their population. They have to.
Yeah, they were volunteers.
We've seen it as them being volunteers, whereas in the First Order,
they're conscripted
actively.
Yeah, they're conscripting people.
Very much so.
But it's children versus say teenagers.
Right.
It's where again they weren't teenagers. They were children, so they could brainwash them.
It's the same thing the Jedi did.
Exactly.
It's the exact same
it is.
thing. Yeah.
It
I
really
literally
was,
just said that 30 seconds ago.
Yeah,
Like,
well,
no,
I'm
it was the
not
Jedi who was kidnapping children.
Yeah. And they weren't kidnapping them. They had the right to go or not to go.
See,
Like,
I looked at it like the Montessori school, right?
Yeah.
You're taking them to them. Like, my child has these powers. Can you teach them?
And here's how I would here's how I would rephrase that, and I say this expressively in that one booklet I wrote. The space wizards with laser swords that are the state-run religion and state-funded religion are knocking on your door saying, we would like your child, we're going to take them and...
That is not what they did. Show me in the movie where they did that, where they actively stole the children.
I didn't say they stole. And again...
Show me where they did that in the plot.
I will show you on the doll. I'll bring the doll next time and I'll show you.
Dude, I'm sure you will. No, you're that again, it was a volunteer process. We know your child's special. We have a place to teach them if you want. It wasn't a guy in a costume going, hey, we're stealing your kid.
Well, technically, they were
still in costume. Yeah.
Fair enough.
This is a movie.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Bottom line is most like your rants, you're wrong on this.
No.
That's not what happened. That's not, again, show me in the trilogies and any of them where the Jedi were actively kidnapping these kids like the stormtroopers.
Kat, how are you doing?
Kat's like, this just got ugly quick.
Yeah.
It did, but I'm honestly still trying not to pay attention.
Oh, okay.
I
Thanks.
don't want to be spoiled,
It's how she,
you know?
It's how she stayed sane this entire time.
So are all of the other viewers.
Okay,
Yes.
what was the one? What is the retcon?
Why do you keep saying that?
You gotta stop, dude.
Find some new
you're
words.
killing me. And stop.
It is a retcon.
And Rion Johnson. I think you're gonna hashtag that because that thing's been. You've said his name like 8 times during this thing.
He is the MVP of Mouse Wars.
All right.
But
So what were you trying to say with your sentence?
What element?
Yes.
From The Last Jedi that got changed in this movie did you like the most, or did you think was the biggest backhand to that film?
Changed?
Yeah.
I can tell you the most snarky thing in the movie, which was absolutely directed at The Last Jedi, was when Luke caught the lightsaber. And he's talking about the fact, he goes, a Jedi's weapon is not something to, whatever he said.
Should be treated with more respect.
Yeah, it's like that was the biggest backhand. I was like, huh. Funny. Whimsical.
Yeah.
I personally wasn't looking out for anything like that. I just went and sat and watched the movie. So if there was something that nothing jumped out at me I mean, like what you just pointed out, I wasn't even thinking about that.
That was the only
know what I'm
thing
saying?
that I thought, I wonder if they're taking a shot at it. That was it. But everything else, no.
Nothing jumped out to me as anyone saying, I'm doing this to purposefully undermine what you did prior to this film. So if anybody's got that as an example, I mean, I never got it that way.
Next question, because I know there are a ton
No,
of,
but I know he's got something he's going to want to say about it.
But there are a ton of people, though, that are out there on the net right now that are asking that same question and dissecting it and saying this is crap. I don't want to get into that because I don't feel that. Those individuals are sitting there looking for something. Hell, even I was looking for something one night when he sat there and caught the lightsaber.
See, here's the thing. I didn't even catch that as big as, but you're right, it is.
Yeah, but it is.
You're right. It is.
To me, that was kind of a shot at it. I'm not saying intentional or unintentional, although I do feel it was intentional. But I was like, huh. And I left it alone. But these other people that are going through and just tearing it apart. They did this. They took this away from there, and they tried to retcon. I didn't. I'm like Sean. I never saw that.
I didn't feel like anything was retconned in this movie.
I saw it as Abrams trying to set up that second and third act
as
quickly as he could.
Yeah, and
which I gotta be honest. I gotta be
is,
honest though. That was what worked. It was because when you're going at that speed, it didn't give you a time to rest, which can be a bad thing, but it wasn't in this movie. This whole thing that was moving at such a breakneck pace that I didn't have time to really think about it, which in certain instances, watching it the second time, that was good.
Yeah,
it really was, because I was like, you know what, that's
you're not dwelling on anything on one part too much. You're moving with the story.
And at 2.5 hours, or a little less than 2.5 hours, that's a good thing because I never felt it. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, when you go into a movie, I felt Han Solo.
This did not feel like 2.5 hours.
No, it didn't. It was much faster.
By the time we got to that final battle, I was just like, oh, this is the climax. This is where we're going. And I thought the pacing. All right, so even though the pacing was quick for me, you could. The way he did put it together and where you finally end up was done really well.
Yeah, it was excellent.
I was very excited, like the Palpatine reveal.
Mm-hmm. That was
for Rey.
Yes.
Yeah. That was to me, that if you want to say the best part of the entire like plot and idea for me, that was it. I loved that. That whole idea that it's like, oh, cool. You know, this was a really neat twist. I don't think many people saw that coming. I didn't. I wasn't planning on it.
There was like one or two things online where they're like,
people were mentioning it could be.
Yeah, but this was like two or three, like when the first one came out, they're like, I think someone threw it out there as a joke. What if she's a Palpatine? And I remember thinking that would be so cool if she was a Palpatine. Like, it would be different.
And it was, that's what I liked about it. It was different. It's like, okay, good. Now we're not just focused on Skywalkers. You know, I thought that was really good. And I wish they had done something like that sooner.
Right.
Because I kind of feel like here we are watching this, and it's like we only just now get to this point. Yeah. And it would have been nice to have it a little earlier.
Right. And that's actually the retcon for me that I dislike the most. Hold on, is her being Palpatine, because I like the idea of her being nobody. She's not connected to anything. And again, this is where he's going to get even more douchebaggy. I liked the idea that she was just.
Is he on repeat today?
No more than you are. She was just this person. That's all she was. She wasn't connected to anybody. She wasn't a Skywalker. She was some drunk kids or some drunk kids. Yeah, she was just some drunk kids.
She was some drunk kid out in the desert with a stick.
Which is apparently where Jedi come from. And
that's what I would be.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, that was cool.
Yeah. And that was it. Like, I liked that idea. Now, again, they retconned it, but then they come back and they do give us the everyone showing up at the end to help with the fleet. That was sort of their sort of nod to what he was doing.
Look,
I like that.
Hold on.
Let me just ruin anything.
Let me say one thing.
Yes.
Everybody was so pissed off that they were like, "Oh, she's not a Skywalker in Last Jedi." Like, how can her parents just be from nothing? Other than you, because you were apparently really happy about that. And then everybody's saying that he's retconning it, going back and changing it in this movie. Look, why would you ever believe somebody from the dark side telling you something ever? Why would you ever believe that? She has no idea who her parents were. And the way I saw it was, even though he said your parents came from nothing, your parents were nobody, he's lying to her. Or he didn't know, and he was just saying it to hurt her. So my whole thing was, okay, that was never true. She's still somebody, and we don't know who she is.
Right.
Because he doesn't effing know who she is.
And you could have gone either way in this movie with it. It left it ambiguous enough that she could be from someone, she could not be from someone. But you're sitting there saying, well, I didn't like it because, they went back and said she was a Palpatine, retconning everything. No, they didn't, man. In
No,
fact,
they never.
Actually, they do.
You
No,
were the
they
person,
do.
Hold on.
They never
because you were-
stopped. They never said flat out that the prior movie was wrong.
Yeah.
They never say that.
And
They
the
kinda
second,
do.
They
no,
don't.
they don't.
They
And the
don't.
second thing is this: you're the same person that after the second one was like, man, she's no one. Or before the Last Jedi,
Yeah.
you were sitting there going, man, it'd be cool if she was a Kenobi. It'd be cool if this. You're the same person, dude. The fact that she was a Palpatine, offspring, that was greatness. And
I didn't say I didn't like the fact that it was that. I'm just saying it's like it was a change, and it was a change because the Emperor Palpatine even tells Kylo Ren when he introduced, he goes, "Let me tell you the truth of who she is." That's which means that yes, Kylo
It
wasn't
means
trying
that
to trick her. He was
Kylo-
telling her the truth as how he saw it. That's what he believed her to be. He wasn't lying to her at the time. So again, I don't mind the fact that they came back and redid it. But I did like that idea of her being nothing. I think there was a good message there. That was it. That's the end of it. It doesn't change anything, ruin anything.
It never said that. In fact, the whole
Yes,
point
they
was.
did.
Shut up for a second.
No.
The whole point was at the end of the movie
You don't.
at the Last Jedi was the fact that it could be anyone, which was the whole point of the kid, which we all loved in that movie. I don't care love or hate Last Jedi.
It takes the broom. Yeah.
That was it was great. It could be anyone. But they never explicitly said that about Rey. Again, an entire movie's purpose, and even the director, no, I'm not going to call him by his name anymore, but even the director of Last Jedi.
He who shall not be named.
He knew that, you know what, I'm going to leave it as this. I'm going to say that a Sith is lying to her so that, or not even that he's lying to her, but this is a Sith, like Sean said. Why would you believe anything a Sith says to you? The whole point is to deceive you. He just left it open. There was no wrong or right answer. We knew that in this movie, before it came out, she was going to be tied into something. I think it's great that she was tied into Palpatine as opposed to being
I think that was great.
tied into Skywalker.
Yeah.
Which is what I'll come to on my nitpick, which is why there are two cheesy parts on this movie that really kind of just...
I think I know where you're going with this.
They stuck with me.
Yeah.
Number one is probably not it, but it was Poe's reaction to what's her name still being alive.
Yeah.
That was just it oozed cheese.
Wait.
Man.
When she was in the plane or at the end?
At the end.
Really?
Yeah, it was just so
Zori Bliss.
Zori Bliss, right?
I loved
I
his,
wrote because
I loved his little. You want?
Yeah.
And she was like,
No,
No.
not that. I'm just saying
'Cause I love that part
when he
too.
realizes that she's still alive.
oh, he nods.
Who's that flyer? I was like, come
okay.
on, man.
So that's what I
Again,
meant. That's
it's
what
a
I meant
nitpick.
by the difference. I
Yeah.
meant at the end or when she's in the ship. And
No,
you're
no,
saying
when she's in the ship.
All
So
right.
when she's in the ship. But
Who's
I mean,
that
it was
flyer?
it was
Yeah.
sweet. But I was
That
like,
was-
that's cheesy.
But that's the same type of cheese that was in the 1970s.
Of course.
first.
Yeah,
Of
and it
course
was
it
in the
was.
original one because
Yeah.
that's what what's his face says about Poe.
Exactly.
Finn says
All right.
about
So,
Poe.
so anyways, right.
So
What's the other scene?
the other one is Rey.
yeah,
Skywalker.
that
And I was like,
that's.
I was like, okay, and I did. For me, I was like, I'm gonna allow it because of how it was played out with Luke and Leia being there,
and
they wanted her to feel like family, and she learned from the last of the Skywalker. Literally learned from the last of Skywalkers,
Right.
whether it was Ben Solo, whether it was Leia, whether it was Luke.
Yeah.
those were
she
her
was
three
intertwined.
mentors the
Yeah,
whole way
so-
because
Yeah.
she learned about the light side of the Force and she learned about the dark side from
yeah.
Kylo.
Exactly. So it's very much. I was like, oh, okay.
Well,
but
and
that
they're also doing the whole classic. She just because you're named something does not necessarily
Yeah.
mean that's who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was, and I get that. But you're right. It grated on me a little bit because of the cheesiness of it.
It just felt like
I
J.J.
almost-
Abrams going through that checkbox, which I will say this. Let's say what this movie is. It is absolutely... Yeah, okay.
Don't say fan service.
It's. I'm not going to say it, but you could
you're
tell
thinking
that,
it.
you could tell there was a
You want to.
checkbox of what can I do to make him happy. Yes.
Well, even
yes,
the checkbox thing
yes,
has been killed to
yes,
death already.
yes.
I think I would have really liked the ending more if she had just said, if she had said Rey and then she said Palpatine. I kind of think that would have been more interesting to me. versus.
But I mean, and to that point too, though, she couldn't say Palpatine because that name was known around the galaxy.
That's true.
So you can't. She would have to. Now, had she said Rey Solo with the first interaction with what she had with
that
Han,
would have been interesting.
to her connection to Ben,
I could see that.
that would have been awesome too.
Yeah.
But to sit there and be like Skywalker, and it's like, it's a bit of a push, but
it was a bit of a push. But
I allow it.
But I get it. But I get it.
Yeah, it was. They were putting a bow on it,
and it doesn't.
Yeah.
And it doesn't ruin the movie.
No.
For me.
Yeah.
I mean, it might ruin it for other people, but it's the choice they went with, and I don't have a problem with it. Like it's not. It doesn't. I can still watch it again and be like, yeah, all right, whatever, that's fine. Because again, it's not who you. Your name does not necessarily mean who you are.
Yeah.
Loved her
She
lightsaber.
She
chose. Oh wait, you mean Leia's?
the one that she makes.
Oh, the orange one.
It looks like it's part of her staff.
Yeah.
But more importantly, that orange, because there are 2 or 3 colors. Orange being one of them, purple being another one.
Yeah.
That represents your understanding of both sides of the Force. So I love that. I'll also say another
Yeah,
epic.
that was Plo Koon, I think his name was. He was a diplomat in the Jedi Council. He was the one that had kind of the mask and the squiddy look on the face. He carried the orange one because that's what his order was.
Yeah.
So, he's my favorite non-spoken Jedi kind of thing, you know.
Yeah, no, Plo Koon's actually pretty. Yeah, he was awesome. He was also Ahsoka's trainer, which is a good into the voiceovers.
Yeah, that's right.
I went back and double checked, and they brought back Andy Serkis to do that few lines that he's saying I was Snoke, I was the Vader voice. They did have
I saw
James
that.
Earl
I
Jones
saw that
come
in the
back
credits.
for that.
Yeah.
So
they brought in Ewan McGregor, and they brought in everybody
and Alec Guinness.
And Alec Guinness.
Well, they didn't bring him in.
They used his words. Yeah. But they also pulled in who played Anakin.
They brought Hayden Christensen, Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
They did have. Yeah,
I said that.
He already mentioned
I'm
it.
sorry.
You're good.
Liam Neeson. They had.
I said that too. Yep.
Yeah.
Freddie Prinze Jr.
Yes, from who's Kanan Jarrus.
Yep.
From Rebels.
Oh, from Rebels.
And they gave him a clear.
Yeah,
Like
as
soon
soon
as I heard it, I was like, oh my god, they let Freddie Prinze on this movie.
Yeah, exactly. And Frank Oz and Ashley Eckstein, who did the voice of Ahsoka Tano in the show.
Could have been Yellow Matthew. I could be mistaken. Sorry, Matthew.
Well, it's like yellowish orange somewhere around there. Yeah.
Anyway, yes. So she was from Clone Wars and Rebels. They brought her in to do her lines. Then they had Olivia Diabo do Luminara and Dooley. That's also the voice actor from the Clone Wars. Jennifer Hale as Ayala Secura, also from the Clone Wars, and Angelique Perrin from Galia. Anyway, these were some secondary characters that had a lot of episodes in the Clone Wars. They brought them all back in to sort of fill that in.
And I love, and I'll get to my third cheesiest moment in this movie, but I love that line, and I also love the imagery once Ben Solo enters the Emperor's little area, them being side by side and both lightsabers being blue coming up, and they're getting ready to attack. I thought that image, because how long has it been since we've seen 2 Jedi fight side by side with the lightsabers both being blue? That's a wallpaper there. I'm certain of it. But the third cheesiest line for me, which I'm like, JJ, did you watch Endgame while you were scripting that? And I have 1,000 Jedi.
Yes.
And I was like, and I am Iron Man as well.
It was I am all the Sith. And I am all the Jedi.
But and she whips out the second one and is like, now that I have 2, I can kick your butt.
But I love that she died because of that.
Yes.
Right? Like, I will say that. And I love the fact that they redeemed Ben, but they killed him at the same time.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. And I was like, don't redeem him and let him live. He still killed Han. Yeah. So I love the fact that he did die.
Yeah, he gave up his his life.
He sacrificed himself. He made the ultimate sacrifice to save,
which is his redemption. And of course, when he disappears, Leia disappears.
Right. Like you said, they're intertwined that way. That was good.
Notably missing in the voiceover of
which still makes me wonder. So you have all of them disappear that are Jedi, and Vader's still the only one that left a body.
He's not the only. No, most of the Jedi left a body. That was one of the things that they established.
You're right.
In
Qui-Gon.
Clone Wars, it's Qui-Gon is the ability to commune with the Force. Like, not everyone becomes a Force ghost.
Yeah.
The ones who become the Force ghosts are the ones who become one with the Force, and that is actually a level you had to attain, and you had to train for it. And like even Yoda, had to train Qui-Gon when Qui-Gon was
Qui-Gon
dead.
trained him.
He trained Yoda and he trained Ben, which does bring why some of these others because they all left bodies.
Notes, man.
Yeah,
He's
hey,
on pace.
I've done this before, dude.
Yeah.
I'm
So,
slacking. So.
Missing was Taylor Gray, who was the voice of Ezra Bridger.
Nobody cares.
I know. Well, he was the Padawan in Rebels who disappeared at the end of the episode. Anyway, it's just that there were rumors that he was actually supposed to appear in the film. He was supposed to be on the ship when they rush it with the horses. He was supposed to be a part of that. Like supposedly he had found the clones and was working with them. So he was supposed to have a role in the film.
Go to your next one.
The only other thing that I really found interesting was they brought back Dennis Lawson, who was Wedge Antilles.
Yes.
Yeah,
I saw him as the guy. I'm like, that's Wedge Antilles.
Yes.
And I didn't realize, dude has been like he's a serious actor. Like he wasn't just some extra who happened to make. Like he has been working every. Like you look up his IMDb, he's got stuff every year since. I mean, before Star Wars.
Yeah, he's just never been mainstream like
Yeah.
like a lead actor, so to speak.
Yeah, he was always just sort of. This, but he's been working.
Interesting.
Yeah, the entire time.
But yeah, when I
Good for him.
saw him Man in the Guns,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, dude.
Yeah, and of course Warwick Davis did come back as Wicket, whose full name is Wicket W. Warwick.
Oh, I thought it was gonna be. Never mind. It's
There you go.
Wikipedia.
Yeah,
Wikipedia.
Wickety Whack.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
a dad joke.
It was a
man.
dad joke.
Oh, good
It was a
God.
dad joke.
Yeah, those are the only two things I really cared about. Was Warwick Davis came back for that, and that we had.
But
Dennis
Those are the
Lawson's
only two
Wedge.
things you cared about. It seems like
That's
there was
it.
a lot more you cared about leading
No,
up
that
to this.
what we've already talked about. I'm
Well,
good.
so what I want to see on Disney Plus now is I want to see Finn's Jedi Ascension.
Yeah,
I would love to see that whole Lando
Yeah, I
and
wanna see-
Janna.
yeah. Lando and Janet. That's what I want to
You
see.
know.
Oh, then
Doing-
let's find
yeah.
out.
Yeah, so let's go find out.
Let's
Like,
go find
I'm
out.
like, yes, let's do this. I've been missing Lando this whole time.
Yeah. That swashbuckling, beautiful
yeah.
gentleman that he is.
Lando.
I
He's
love
awesome,
it.
man.
Yeah,
He's
Yeah.
just awesome.
he's great.
This movie
Billy
again.
D. Williams.
I like it.
Colt 45.
Colt 45.
Because you
All
never
these-
know when
When
friends might show up. What? It's true.
Hey man, I'd love some Colt 45.
Oh, we know that.
Oh yeah.
I would
It
I
was
would like
good.
to see some more stuff that actually shows us some background on the Sith and especially their
yeah.
that planet
Yeah.
because
Right.
like I said, finally getting into seeing this, that moment in the movie was actually pretty terrifying.
It was
When they're
Yeah.
all
'Cause I'm
chant,
sitting
when
there
they're all
thinking,
chanting,
Are they all Sith? Are they?
those are just
Yeah.
the servants or whatever. But when
right.
they're
But
all
still, the fact that you have an entire Coliseum full of them,
Yeah.
like that's, and they've been building this fleet
Dude,
forever. Like
that
that
was-
was a big. I'm like, whoa.
that was terrifying.
Yeah.
At that moment, the tone in the movie, like it really shifted for a second there
Yeah.
to a almost to a horror flick.
Yeah.
It was like
It did.
suspenseful thriller
Especially
horror.
since
I
he
was
was
like,
coming back out on
oh
that
crap,
thing,
yeah,
it was
Yeah.
very.
Well, and like every time the lightning flashed, like his face was changing.
yes.
It was morphing back and forth to it's like what you wanted
But
you
it-
to see
well,
and
but-
what it was, and
But
it's
it,
like
I mean, it wasn't. It was just the lights, but it
Yeah.
was a really good use of that.
exactly that's what I'm saying. Yeah, you got that feeling.
Did
It
you guys
just-
get the warning on the screen too? By the way, the epilepsy warning before the movie
No,
started.
ours didn't.
We did.
Really?
Yes, it said this movie contains intense flashing scenes that may trigger epilepsy in some. And we both like looked at each other like we've never seen that before.
Speaking of flashing scenes on there with the lights and everything else, that scene in The Mandalorian where he's on the ship
Oh yeah.
and
Oh,
he's
and he comes
hunting
up
down,
behind Bill Burr.
and
Yes!
he's just, oh my gosh,
He's like,
dude.
no.
yeah,
That
I
was-
love that. I love like he was there
'Cause
and then he's not.
It played,
Yeah.
and I love that too because right before he turns around, it flashes and he's not
He's
there.
not
Yeah,
there. Yeah,
he's
no,
not there.
dude,
So he
it was,
turned-
It was
oh my
full on
God,
Michael
dude.
Myers.
Yeah.
it was perfect.
Yeah, I love that part, and I love that.
perfect.
And I loved like you think he's killing these people the
Oh,
entire
he's
time.
yeah, he's just
and he's just running him unconscious
yeah,
and
he's
locking him up.
toss him in the cell.
Yeah, no, again, there's nothing in the Mandalorian. My favorite part of that entire episode though is when Baby Yoda goes to destroy the robot and it blows up,
And he looks at his hand,
like,
yeah.
what just happened?
Sorry. Anyway, that scene with the Emperor that made me think of
Yeah.
of the Mandalorian.
yeah,
as
the
well.
flashing. Yeah,
So
definitely,
I'd be happy not to see a Star Wars flick for another 5 years. I know it'll probably only be 2 or 3, but
I'd like to see a
Throw-
Poe and Zari.
Well,
What's his
throw-
name? Zari.
Zori, Carrie
Bliss.
Russell's character.
Carrie Russell's
Carrie
character.
Russell's character.
And I love the fact that people are like, "Why didn't she take off the helmet?" And it was Carrie Russell's. I was like, "I don't want my helmet off. I can flip a visor or whatever, but I don't want. I love Star Wars. I don't want to be taken out of the movie by seeing myself.
Right.
So can I just leave my helmet on?
Right.
I thought genius. But yeah, there's so many Disney Plus possibility series on this, and we still have the one for Rogue One, the main character coming out.
I can't remember his name.
You have season 2 of The Mandalorian already confirmed. They're starting to film on, or starting to script and film. And then you've got, of course, the Obi-Wan series that we'll get.
Yeah.
But there's at least 4 or 5 series just from this latest trilogy of movies that I want to see.
Yeah.
You know, and I say this because I want them to have the time to explore, the possibilities on it. So I do want to see series. I don't want to see it on the big screen because I think whatever comes next has to be.
We need more time.
We need more time. It needs to be epic in scale like these always are, and don't give me a continuation.
They've said they've said this is the end of the saga. This is the end of that saga. So hopefully they will stay true to that.
Yeah.
And we won't have to have all the weight and animosity that comes behind a Skywalker, even though supposedly it represents the light side. So.
Yeah, they did a series. Dark Horse sort of it's no longer canon. They did a series where it was like Luke Skywalker's grandchild, I think, or great grandchild, and he basically kind of did like with Rebels what he did, where he became a bounty hunter, but he still had his lightsaber. Like that would have been an interest. Like that would be an interesting kind. Put it like 1,000 years from in the future, and have it just be some random Jedi's kid, and he's like. Yeah, my dad was a Jedi, but he had me. I know how to use the Force. I know how to use the lightsaber, but I'm a bounty hunter. Like, that would be cool.
So, and one other thing about this movie that I kind of caught to myself that's not related to, I'm sorry, what you were saying, but was I know that Knights of the Old Republic is not canon to any of these storylines. However, when they're hunting down the Sith artifacts, trying to figure out a way to get back to it, it felt like
Knights of the Old Republic. Yeah.
So it
they've
made me feel
doing something like along
I know,
those
but I'm
lines,
just saying it made me feel like I was back playing that game again.
Yeah.
And I was like, ooh, this is actually really good because there's so much of Knights of the Old Republic that would have been great for these stories that it's disappointing. And so, but that feeling being there was really nice. That was nice.
I think it's probably about time.
We're
out of
time.
Bottom line.
Go see the movie.
I liked
Enjoy
it. I think you should go see it.
Yeah. Don't let somebody else's opinion ruin you making your own opinion about the film.
Yeah.
And don't let our opinion talk you into going and seeing it.
No, either way.
I feel you should go see it.
If you're a Star Wars fan, I think you should go check it out.
Just don't be toxic fanboys is all I ask.
Yeah.
I know that's impossible, but
Speaking of toxic, did you see what Christy Jedi Goddess just posted?
What'd she say?
Something like that.
About leaving the group because somebody had posted a spoiler meme like yesterday, and didn't it just come out yesterday?
Yeah. So here's the thing: we're telling everyone it's a spoiler episode. Do not watch our show.
Yeah.
Right.
We opened with it. We're gonna end with it too. Don't ruin this for anyone.
Don't ruin it for other
jerk.
people. Don't be that.
Don't be a jerk.
Don't be that person.
Yeah.
Don't be that person.
Don't be a Jason, and drop spoilers while you're talking. Is all I'm saying.
So, all right, guys. Again, thank you to Titan Comics for putting up with us and wanting and keeping us around. Go visit Jeremy Titan, www.titancomics.com. And again, we still have a very Spidey Christmas going on, I believe.
Actually, yeah. So we shot our video last night with all of our toys and Spider-Man's new lenses that he just had custom made. And we're 4 days away. Christmas is in 4 days, so next time on your show, we'll have some good videos and pictures to give you guys.
Cool,
nice.
So
Excellent.
thank you all for your support and your help. We do appreciate it.
Yep.
Excellent. So again, very Spidey Christmas. I think they're still raising money for that. We'll post something. Titan Comics. If you want to yell at us, you can send us an email at vagabondnerds@gmail.com. Don't forget, we are still doing the tool giveaway. We will repost a thing for that. And we'll catch y'all next time.
See ya. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Or
Happy
Happy
New
New
Year.
Year. So whatever
Happy
you
Hanukkah,
celebrate.
Kwanzaa.
See you next year.